Hey all, Sebs again, just looking at what I call conditional crafting. What that means is it's not step by step, it's based on when certain conditions are met, it will cast or use skills based on their order of priority. I'm not actually making a full um, routine today, it's just showing you the basics on what should be used and when they should be prioritized. So as you can see, here I've got some already set up. Um, Basically, what I think is the most important part of it is the missing buffs here. If you don't have the missing buffs used, it will cast over and over and over and over and use all your CP and you'll get nothing done. And it will likely stick. You won't finish the craft, you won't fail the craft, you'll just stay in crafting. For Comfort Zone, the buff is 261. I will put a list somewhere or a link to a list that I use. But what we can do is, if you're not sure, you can go to the dev console in the LUA modules, go to buffs, select yourself, turn it on, and what we can do is right now I'm going to start crafting something cheap. And just up the top, once you've got your buff, you can see the buff ID right here, 261. All right, so now we know how to find what the buffs are. You can set that up. See how it's only casted once, it's not casting over and over. Now if I remove that, it's going to do it over and over and over, in theory. All right, it's actually stopped because I have also set steps. If you use Comfort Zone once, keep it under 10 steps. If you want it to activate twice, under 20 steps. It takes 10 steps to wear off, so that way you can actually tell it how many times you want it to cast. For the next step, Inner Quiet, it has buff 261, it's missing buff 251, which is Inner Quiet, and it's less than 5 steps. This is allowing me to use skills such as Tricks of the Trade if it gets a good condition. I'll cover Tricks of the Trade later. So now I want to activate this. I'm doing it step by step so you can actually test it as you go along to make sure it works. So if I activate this, that one's worked fine. It's not double casting. Right, now we'll move on to the next step. Steady Hand 2. So same conditions, same steps. Make sure that one casts, doesn't double cast. That one works. Hasty Touch. Make sure it has the condition has Steady Hand or Steady Hand 2. And I've also got a durability condition here. So as long as it has more than or equal to 20 durability, so it's not going to fail my craft. And this one's going to cast about 3 times. So it stopped at 10 durability because it's got doesn't meet that requirement. All right, so what we have here is Master's Mend, and we also have Careful Synth. So the way I set my things up is Master Mend is always above Careful Synth. If it has the CP to use it, it will use it. If it doesn't have the CP to use Master's Mend and repair it, it will use Careful Synth. So complete the craft. If it's at 100%, I'll normally have another Careful Synth to finish the craft and guarantee it's 100%. As I said earlier, it's an order of priority, so if you want it to complete at 100%, that one will go right up the top so that it doesn't continue doing other stuff. So we do have the CP, so just to see whether this works. There we go, we're back up to 40 durability, and we're going back into all the other routines previously set. Right, so steady hand 2 has dropped off, which means it's not using hasty touch. And because I set the restrictions up here, it's more than step 6, so it's not going to double cast. It's not going to recast that one. Based on everything I currently have here, it's going to stay there. It's not going to cast this one because it's not less than 10 durability, and it's not going to use hasty touch anymore. So this is where you can add extra abilities, new conditions. It's up to you what you do for this, but just for this, we're going to all right, so now generally what it would do, because I don't have the CP for Master's Mend, it would complete the craft. So we'll activate Careful Synth and we will complete the craft. And that's it. That's how you set those ones up. Right, tricks of the trade. This could be the make or break of your profile. It's a fantastic skill. You want it to use as much as possible, so it needs to be right at the top. However, if you don't set it up right, you're going to screw your entire routine up. I always add it last so that you can see if your routine is going to work properly. What you don't want it to do is cast when you have great strides, ingenuity, stuff like that. If you have great strides up, you want to use, say, Burgot's Blessing rather than Tricks of the Trade. So you don't want it to activate there. Those sorts of situations, it's really not beneficial to get 20 extra CP. So you can add those restrictions just down the bottom here in the missing buffs. So we'll activate this one. We'll see whether we actually get any. What I'll actually do is show you guys how to set up Careful Synth if we're at 100% quality. Again, it's a priority, so that one goes right at the top. Remember to save your profile. And that should now complete the synth. There we go. That's basically all I have to show you guys about this. Play with it. If you're not sure what you're doing, buy something cheap and practice. These ones are 40 durability, so if you're working on, say, one of the 3-star tokens, you can always practice the rotation on something cheap, such as this, because you are going to stuff up. I've done it 100 times. You're looking at the routine in the console here. It lists you exactly what order everything is being used in. So it's really handy to track the routine from here rather than all this information down in the bottom corner. It's really hard to read and keep track of. So this is fantastic. And that's it. That's all I have. Thanks.